I am Johnathan Timothy. I am a real estate agent and I have been doing this since January of this year. I am a retired Air Force veteran. I retired in 2022. From there, I went to go work as an HR business partner for Thermo Fisher Scientific and quickly realized that I appreciate a little bit more freedom in my schedule. Real estate is probably the closest connection that I have to people while still kind of doing the things that I really enjoy. So I'm more of a person who appreciates like a transformational kind of relationship versus a transactional relationship. And though real estate is a very transactional business, I think the impact that you have on people's lives can be transformational. So I really appreciate having a little bit more impact on people's lives and helping people go from, renters to owners. Probably my first couple of weeks with Dash, I knew that we had a great team, but overall, there's a lot of things to kind of factor to kind of get your business going. I think a lot of agents kind of come into this thinking that, the day you sign up with a brokerage, you're on track to make $1 million, and that's not necessarily true. There's quite a bit of sweat equity that you put into this work, and I think that was kind of like my realization that all right, I'm on the right path, but there's definitely some mountains we got to climb. I had a lot of people that kind of stepped in. I'm a pretty social person for the most part, especially like in the work setting. I like everything to kind of be lighthearted and cool. But Derek was really good. Derek is one of those individuals that really kind of jumped in and helped me out quite a bit. Onboarding team was really fantastic. So Courtney, Pat, and Britton, Carl initially, and yeah, it was just really good. Everybody just kind of jumped in. Well, the first deal that I had go under contract. It was for a family on Super Bowl Sunday. They literally were very interested in seeing homes, and I was kind of baffled because I was like, all right, who shops for homes on Super Bowl Sunday? And I was a little bit resistant at first. I was like, well, maybe we should try to reschedule. And I said, you know what, let me just get out here and get after it. Made a pretty good connection with the family, and they call me family now. So I think that was probably one of the moments that made me realize, like, all right, I'm on the right path, and this is definitely where I can assert my value into someone's life and kind of transform. So the onboarding team was quite amazing. Whenever you have a question, they're very adamant about coming to them with the problem early on versus later in the stages of the issues. So I was very open about where I was with every single transaction and every single stage in which we were at, and asking for help and asking for guidance, and just even talking to the broken charge Casey about different things and different options to consider as we're kind of working through transactions. So everybody was able to kind of jump in and give me some assistance, and I'm not very shy about asking for help. So it worked out. I think that's being legacy driven. That's one thing that I kind of harped on quite a bit while I was in the Air Force is being mindful of what your legacy will be, being mindful of how the small conversations lead to long-lasting memories, and how sometimes being present for people will resonate and carry forward for years and years to come. So that's always just kind of been me. I'm not, I don't want to be too grim, but I'm always mindful of what people say at your funeral or when you're no longer present. And I always want to leave a decent or a good impact on people's lives, and just make sure that, when you're not around, people have a lot of quality things to say about you. Stay the course, stay consistent. Where there's no work, there's no reward. So just stay the course. If you stay at it, you'll get to where you need to go. It's probably one of the more unique brokerages that really kind of foster a culture of growth and education. It's cool to kind of just, throw out a bunch of different, real estate terms and tell you to kind of digest this, and this is the way that you can potentially make money, but to actually give you the keys to the vehicle and put gas in it for you essentially is amazing, right? I think a lot of brokerages kind of show you where you can find the car, but Dash is one of those brokerages that kind of give you the keys and show you how to drive and all those different elements that make you very successful as an agent. And that's probably the one thing that I would tell an agent on day one is that this is an environment, this is a brokerage where you can actually grow and be the best version of you as long as you're doing your part. I think the one thing that surprised me the most about joining Dash is how free-spirited everyone was. which is refreshing, right? Because it comes from a very military corporate background, but just to know that people can be humans and be themselves, 100% authentically was very eye-opening, and I appreciated that.